So one of the great treats I'm finding is this distillation of René Girard's mimetic theory done by Wolfgang Paulliver. And he stumbles upon, I think it's a great way of describing the mental disorder that is wokeism. And he quotes Dostoyevsky's Crime and Punishment. And he quotes it at length, and I'm just going to read it from my own copy that I read many years ago. I actually had forgotten this part in this whole book. There's just so many wonderful, insightful things. Anyways, re-seeing Dostoyevsky through the eyes of René Girard and mimetic theory, through the mimetic spectacles, as I call them. Once you have the knack for mimetic theory, you can see how the mimetic functions throughout many facets of the life. And so I'm going to describe here what, in many ways, is what Eric Vogelin and Robert Musil and many others did in Fin de Siècle Vienna to describe this second reality to which the Viennese had fallen prey, that would then, of course, be cracked wide open by the eruption of World War I, which we should never forget was between three first cousins, Nicky, Joey, and Willie. And so, why we got in the middle of that, actually, we just brought the plague to it more than anything. But let me go back to speaking of the plague, and let me set it up the way that Paulliver does on his page 139. He's just kind of pulling out different great pieces of literary works that Girard pointed to as revealing the roots rather than merely reflecting mimetic desire. Girard was always interested in going deeper and actually revealing the roots of why we behave so mimetically and then become violently. And so he cites Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky, and he says Raskolnikov's dream at the close of Dostoyevsky's Crime and Punishment contains a vision of a plague that spreads throughout the world via microbes, threatening to transform mankind into a vicious struggle of all against all. The more the plague spreads, the more human relations are engulfed by mutually imitated violence. And hereafter quoting, and I'm going to read from my big book on page 446. He says, he was in the hospital from the middle of Lent till after Easter. When he was better, he remembered the dreams he had while he was feverish and delirious. He dreamt that the whole world was condemned to a terrible new strange plague that had come to Europe from the depths of Asia. All were to be destroyed except a very few chosen. Some new sorts of microbes were attacking the bodies of men, but these microbes were endowed with intelligence and will. Men attacked by them became at once mad and furious, but never had men considered themselves so intellectual and so completely in possession of the truth as these sufferers. Never had they considered their decisions, their scientific conclusions, their moral convictions so infallible. Whole villages, whole towns, and peoples went mad from this infection. All were excited and did not understand one another. Each thought that he alone had the truth and was wretched looking at others, beat himself on the breast, wept, and wrung his hands. They did not know how to judge and could not agree what to consider evil and what to consider good. They did not know whom to blame, whom to justify. Men killed each other in a sort of senseless spite. They gathered together in armies against one another, but even on the march, the armies would begin attacking each other. The ranks would be broken, and the soldiers would fall on each other, stabbing and cutting, biting and devouring each other. The alarm bell was ringing all day long in the towns. Men rushed together, but why were they summoned, and who was summoning them? No one knew. The most ordinary trades were abandoned because everyone possessed his own ideas, his own improvements, and they could not agree. The land, too, was abandoned. Men met in groups, agreed on something, swore to keep together, but at once began on something quite different from what they had proposed. They accused one another, fought, and killed each other. There were conflagrations and famine. All men and all things were involved in destruction. The plague spread and moved further and further. Only a few men could be saved in the whole world. They were pure, chosen people, destined to follow a new race and a new life, to renew and purify the earth. But no one had seen these men, and no one heard their words and their voices.